All right, I'm gonna start recording it for people who aren't here because I did move the day and I know some people got a little bit confused. So let's do some that were in the book. We did some of these, I think, on Monday, but we've come far since then, so we're gonna try them again. So let's do this one, 44 divided by 2 times 3 minus 12 plus 4. Okay, so we're going to do that one together. So let me see. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to write up here multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, my dear Aunt Sally. So the first thing we look for is multiplication or division. We have multiplication here and we have division here. So we do whichever one comes first, left to right, when we're looking at multiplication and division. So the first one we're going to do is 44 divided by 2, and we get 22. Then we bring down times 3 minus 12 plus 4. Guys, if you're in the chat, just wait a minute because you're supposed to be doing this with me. Okay, so then we have multiplication left, so we can go to the side and do 22 times 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 2 is 6. So we get 66. Drop everything else down. Minus 12 plus 4. So then we go left to right again. You see the subtraction first. So 66 minus 12, we know that 66 minus 10 would be 56. Minus 2 more is 54. Plus 4 is what's left, so we get 58. Okay? So some of you went ahead and solved it before me, and some of you were right, you got 58. So this is one of the longer ones that's going to have all of the pieces to it. You have every piece of my dear Aunt Sally in that one. All right, just a minute, I got somebody trying to come in the room. Okay, so that is how you would do one like that. So I'm going to go through one more time with you guys on this one. You do division first, and then we got 22. We drop down times 3 minus 12 plus 4. Then we know we have to do multiplication before we can do any subtraction or addition. So 22 times 3 is 66. We drop down minus 12 plus 4. And then when you're left with subtraction and addition, you do whichever one comes first, going left to right. So we did 66 minus 12 first, we got 54. We added the 4 and we got our final answer of 58. Okay, so that is in your book. If you were looking in your book, that was number 19. So I'm gonna give a couple more seconds for people to copy that one down. I'm gonna do one more with you. I'm gonna give you 2 to try on your own. Today you have another worksheet like the one you did yesterday. It's the same kind of format as before. Yesterday, some of you did really well on that one. There was a couple I think some people were a little confused on. This is page 193 for those of you who are following your book. Somebody asked me on the chat. 193 if you're following with me in your book. All right, so let's do, if you're following the book, number 20. Number 20 is 20 times 5 minus 50 times 2 plus 0. We did this one, I think, the other day, but we've gotten a lot better at this, so let's try it again. So if we have multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So let's look for any multiplication or division. We have it here and here. So we do whatever one comes first, left to right. So 20 times 5 comes first. So 20 times 5 is 100. Then we drop everything down, minus 50 times 2 plus 0. Then we do our other multiplication here. 50 times 2 is 100. Drop everything else down around it, so we get 100 minus 100 plus 0. 100 minus 100 is 0, and we know that 0 plus 0 equals 0. Okay, so look at that one again. The first thing we did was 20 times 5 because it comes first, left to right. If you need to draw an arrow going that way, you can. So then we did 100 minus 50 times 2 plus 0. Then we did the 50 times 2 because we need to do multiplication before addition and subtraction. We got 100 there, so then we did 100 minus 100 plus 0. And then that you can probably do in your head from there on out. So 0 plus 0 is 0. All right, Skylar, you have a question? Skylar, do you have a question?
No.
Okay, you raised your hand on the thing. Okay, so that's how you do number 20. Let me look at the chat. Some of you got some different answers for that. So if you didn't get 0, some of you got 100. So look back if you didn't get 0 and see what you did wrong there. All right, so now let's look at 21. I want you to do 21 by yourself. So you get 30 plus 20 minus 25 divided by 5 times 5. So that's a big one. Try that one by yourself, and then you can chat me your answer. But if you chat me your answer, remember to do it privately, not publicly, so everybody can work on it on their own. So remember multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Leonidas, yes. Arav, yes. Marshall, yes. Good job, guys. Aiden, yes. If you notice in the book, Chance, yes, they always put the hardest ones towards the end. So this seems to be one of the hardest ones, and everybody's getting it, so good. Joshua, try again. Faith, yes. Ellis, I guess just keep coming in and out if it's kicking you out. I'll try to ask Mr. Robbie why. Ella, try again on that one. Natasha, try again. You're close. Daniel and Jada, try again. You're not too far off. This is one of the harder ones. I'm going to show you just a minute how to solve it. Lorelai, yes. Joshua, try again. Rahel, yes. Skylar, try that one again. All right, I'm going to start going over this one to show you how to do it. So we have addition here, subtraction here, division here, multiplication here. So the first thing we want to do is any multiplication or division, and we do whichever one comes first when we're looking left to right. So we get 25 divided by 5 first. So I'm going to put my 5 because 25 divided by 5 is 5. And I'm going to drop everything else down around it. So I'm not doing anything else but dropping everything else that was in the problem. So now I have 30 plus 20 minus 5 times 5. Okay. So then I do 5 times 5 next and get 25. So then I just rewrite here. 30 plus 20 minus 25. Now I have addition and subtraction left, but I'm going to go left to right. 30 plus 20 is 50 minus 25 is 25, okay? So that's how you would do that one. So if you didn't get it, check and see maybe where you went wrong on that one. Check chat real quick. If you didn't get that one, look at it again. You do 25 divided by 5 first and get 5. Drop everything else down, so then we have 30 plus 20 minus 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25, so that gives us 30 plus 20 minus 25. Then we do 30 plus 20 is 50, minus 25 is 25, okay? All right, we're gonna do one more, and I'm gonna let you do it by yourself, and then we'll move on to some science. So 200 divided by 4. Now that one you might have to work out on the side. Times 3 minus 50 plus 1. Okay, so 200 divided by 4 times 3 minus 50 plus 1. Jacob, if you need to go, you can go. You don't have to tell me. Joshua, that's correct. Leonidas, I can't see it all. It's 200 divided by 4 times 3 minus 50 plus 1. It's page 193, number 21. I mean, number 22. Ellis, Marshall, try those again. Faith, yes. Arav, yes. So remember, when you have multiplication and division, you do whichever one comes first. So I'm going to start you off there. Aiden, yes. You're going to start with 200 divided by 4. And if you don't know what that is in the top of your head, you can do scratch paper, of course. Rahel and Leonidas, yes. Daniel, yes. Ella, yes. Marshall, keep trying. Lorelai, yes. Marshall, good. Yes, that works. All right, so even if you're not done, let's go over this one. So 200 divided by 4. 4 goes into 200. So then 4 goes in. I don't have a whole lot of room, so I'm going to try to squish it. 5 times, get that, 50. So 4 goes into 200 50 times. So 200 divided by 4 is 50. Then we rewrite times 3 minus 50 plus 1. Okay, then we do our multiplication because that's what's left here. So if you need to do it over to the side, 50 times 3, 3 times 0 is 0, 3 times 5 is 15. So we get 150 minus 50 plus 1. Okay, so then with addition and subtraction, you do whichever one comes this way. So 150 minus 50 is 100. 100 plus 1 equals 101. Okay, so that was your answer for that. Jay, do you have a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't you do multiplication first because my dear Aunt Sally?
Good question. So you do whichever one comes left to right. So think about multiplication and division like a pair. They're best friends, they go together. But whichever one comes first when you're going left to right is the one you do first. So that does get confusing with my dear Aunt Sally because it is just a saying to help us remember. But if you see division before multiplication, do division before multiplication.
Oh.
Does that help? I think that might be where you got that one wrong. So yeah, so make sure you do whichever one comes first. So you always do multiplication or division before anything else, but you do whichever one comes first in the problem. So whichever one comes from left to right when we do our little arrow. Then when you finish with all of those, you go on to addition and subtraction. That make a little more sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Faith, you have a question?
I hit the wrong button.
Oh, okay. Daniel, you have a question?
Can I go for a couple seconds, please? My baby sister needs help, and I'm like the only one here.
Yeah.
Everyone else.
Yes. Guys, if you need to go or, anything, you don't have to tell me. It's not like we're in class. You can go if you need to. All right. So, what I'm going to do is unmute you guys for just a second. If you have any questions about this, I want you to ask me. If you don't have any questions, I want you to get your science book out. If you don't have any questions, I want you to stay as quiet as possible so that extra noise doesn't take over your microphone. And then get out your science stuff and let's look at that real quick. All right, I'm gonna unmute you. All right, we're unmuted. Does anybody have a question? Unite up your hand.
Miss Clark.
All right, who's Miss Clark?
Miss Clark.
Yeah.
When you mute us, I found we can press unmute and be unmuted.
No,
I
no
can
more
see that
slides right
button,
now.
but it gives me the
Work done,
option
you're in
to
class.
press it. So if you press it,
You got another, you got your Zoom stuff.
I learned that the
What
first
question?
time.
What mission wants you to get?
I don't have my editions written down.
Well,
All right, if you guys don't
page.
have math questions, get to D1, I think, or D2.
Stop. I didn't like this slot.
D2.
Isn't it D4 because D1 is just a page that shows things?
D2 has the words, so that's what we're gonna look at today.
Okay.
We're on page D2 in science.
Miss Clark, we have unlimited minutes.
Yeah, does y'all
Unlimited.
room is supposed to be 40-minute limit.
Miss
But
Clark.
since so many people have to use it, they took it off, I think.
Miss Clark, what page?
D2. Laura, do you have a question? Oh, sorry.
Miss Clark,
Yeah.
I have a question. Are we going over the vocab words?
Yeah, we're just gonna talk about them and talk about what we're gonna do.
Did I have
Clark,
to finish
did you
the
Okay,
vocab
just
words
listen.
yet?
Just listen
Oh
to or
no,
do
it's
something.
fine. If you haven't done them yet, that's totally fine. We're just gonna talk about them and I'll tell you how to pronounce them and stuff.
Okay.
And concentrated.
Caroline?
Listen.
So my dear Aunt Sally could be dear my sassy aunt.
Mhm.
Right? It could be that.
Yeah, I think it was Joshua. We talked about that the other day where it could be backwards too.
It was
All right, I'm gonna mute you guys. So let's look at page D2. So today's assignment, if you haven't done it yet or looked at it, is to do the vocab words. So remember when you're doing the vocab words to make sure you are using the glossary and you're writing down the entire thing. Don't try to skip around it. So look at the words on D2. I'm gonna pronounce them for you so you know how to say them. Atmosphere, air pressure, troposphere, stratosphere, greenhouse effect, air mass, front, cirrus, cumulus, cumulonimbus, stratus, barometer, humidity, and hygrometer. So those are some new words that are a little harder to say if you haven't seen them before. So turn with me and let's kind of look at what we're going to be doing after spring break. We'll start really with the reading and stuff. We're going to do the first part of it. We're going to learn about the parts of the atmosphere. So the atmosphere is basically all of the air that surrounds us on Earth before we get to space. We're going to learn about the different layers of it and talk about air pressure. Then we'll get to the air masses and how weather spreads across the United States. It starts in the west and comes east towards us. We'll talk about greenhouse effect. We'll talk about, if you see on the news, sometimes they say a warm front or a cold front is coming in. We'll talk about what that means. We'll talk about clouds, cirrus clouds, cumulonimbus, cumulus, and stratus clouds. I think we did some of that last year, but I can't remember in third grade. We'll talk about predicting weather, measuring weather, how the weatherman does the humidity and stuff. And I think I'm going to try to link you guys maybe to watch tomorrow. The meteorologist for one of the local news channels, he did a live yesterday where he went through and he talked about weather and how to predict it, and talked about different kind of stuff that we're going to talk about too. So I'll see if I can kind of get something like that for you guys to watch. Then we're going to talk about weather maps, and that'll be it for this. So what you're going to do, and it won't be till after spring break, is I'm going to let you guys kind of record the weather each day, and that's normally what we would have done in class. So with 4th and 5th grade, when we do the weather, I give you a list of stuff to check each day. So you check the high and the low temperature, the humidity, was there any wind that day, did it rain that day, what kind of clouds you saw, things like that. So when we start after spring break, we'll start doing some weather stuff where we document the weather each day. We'll try to find some cool stuff. What I had hoped to do with you guys in class, we talked about it, I think in Ms. Miller's class, that you can use this app and it'll make like a weather, I guess, a weather forecast where you can come up with your own forecast, and it'll have a little green screen behind you if you stand at a blank wall, and it'll come up like it does on the news where you can point to the map and talk about the weather. So I'll see if I can find something fun for it. So today all you're going to do is do the vocab for it. Tomorrow I'm just going to have maybe like a virtual field trip for us to do or something fun. It won't be something, a whole lot of work, because it's right before spring break and all the grades are due. If you guys have any missing work from term 5, I need you to get that in by tomorrow, because Mr. Robbie is going to be looking for our grades. I don't know about report cards or anything like that. I don't know what we're doing about that. I just know that I have to get my grades in. So if you guys have any work from term 5 that needs to be turned in, do that by tomorrow. Some of you did it. I know Aiden turned his in. I just haven't checked it yet. A lot of you, I sent your parents messages last night if you have any missing work. A lot of you don't, and if you do, it's only 1 or 2 things. So if you do, just ask your parents if I sent them a dojo message, and that'll be where the work is. So I'm going to unlock your Shobi math assignment right now while I'm on here with you. I made sure I didn't put the answer key this time, so none of that. So it's a worksheet just like yesterday. We won't have a live tomorrow, just so we can just do something fun and prepare for spring break. And then next week, of course, you don't have anything to do for me. So I'm going to unmute you, and if you have any questions, you can stay and ask them. And if you don't, you can go and work on your work for the day. All right, you're unmuted. Anybody have any questions? Nope, you're not unmuted. Now you're unmuted. Okay, got it.
Bye, Miss Clark.
Bye, if you're leaving. Bye.
I have to do one thing. Now, give it.
About.
Bye, Miss Clark.
Natasha, do you have a question?
Miss Clark. Miss Clark. Miss Clark.
Nice to meet you, Natasha. What's your question?
Yes. Yes.
Guys, if you're not asking a question, I need you quiet so I can hear others. All right, Natasha, go ahead.
The vocabulary.
It's just the vocabulary today on page D2. That's what you'll do in science.
Okay.
And if you are missing it, I haven't checked it yet. Hi, Matt.
Miss Clark.
Louis.
Look at you. What were you saying about work? I couldn't hear you. Louis,
Thursday is open tonight,
Get up.
and then tomorrow we'll do some
Louis not leaving.
fun stuff.
You know my certificate.
Okay, thank you.